All right, so now that the temperatures have finally started to drop here, we can begin to put down some fall pre-emerge to help us control our weeds for 2026. Every year we do about 500 to 600 acres in a rotation across all of our cherry orchards and the apple orchard here behind me in order to maintain our weeds, because when we get fired up in the spring and early summer with all of the acreage across the 3,000 that we have to do, it's almost impossible for us to stay on top of all of that acreage. So in order to give us a fighting chance to maintain the weeds before they get out of control and too big to kill, I'll show you the equipment that we use here for the cherries and for the apples. I'm gonna be doing the apple work. We have two other guys that are spraying the cherries. They're going across town to one of our further away orchards today. But what we're doing here, like I said, is putting down a combination of pre-emergent sprays in order to help us maintain the weeds in the beginning of the summer next year. Well, of course, in true cold weather fashion, our not so trusty 2640 here that actually has 2 batteries doesn't like to start in the cold. So this is the second day in a row that I've had to jump the tractor. It needs to go to the shop and get serviced. The last time it was serviced was May 2024 by the oil filter. So it needs some work. It needs new tires in the front. So we just have to finish up these last fall sprays here, and then we can get this thing fixed up so that it works a little bit better, a little more reliable. So because we use pickup trucks in the cherry orchards, those don't fit down the high density apple rows here. So what we did do was we outfitted one of our smaller tractors with booms in the front, and we have a simple 100-gallon tank in the back with just a little agitation pump with it. And it's a classic pull tank, pack tank setup, PTO driven. And we just base that off of the speed you go and the amount of nozzles and the rate that you spray out. So it's actually, with this, we do 2 applied orchard acres is what we mix for. So we are going to be loading up, and then we'll start spraying out here. Let's see if we can get it to start now. It's disappointing, to say the least. Sometimes with these old John Deeres, you can come in here and you can shut the hydraulics off. Ouch. And that actually helps start the tractor a little bit easier, that it's not dogging on the hydraulics. So we'll give that a try. Oh my God. It's crazy. 2 batteries and we can't get this to jumpstart hooked up to my truck. You hate to see it. I guess we'll wait a little bit longer in hopes that the battery can get a little more charged up. Well, we got it. It took an extra 15 minutes, and instead I moved the cables from the battery right to the starter and a bolt on the frame of the tractor for the negative, and that seemed to work a little bit better. I wonder if maybe my little post on my truck or something doesn't give out enough juice for this week of a battery, but we bypassed that and now we're in business. So we'll grab our gloves and we'll get mixed up. But since we're not running the irrigation right now, because of how late it is in the year, we just kind of turn the well on and off as we use it, because we don't need the water running. We don't want the trees to continue to grow. So we'll show you guys this is our new panel that's going to feed our new well as well, double wells. So I'll flip the small well on, and we should be getting some water now. One of the things that we're actually having the hardest time with on our farm, controlling here in our younger blocks, like these Honeycrisp that we planted in the fall of 2024, is the white cockle here down below. I'll show you. So it's here, white flower, and spreads so fast that it's really hard to get control of, especially when it gets to this size. So it's more of a pioneer type weed where it thrives in the new orchard setting because of the lack of foliage here that you see on our trees. So that means that while there's too much sun hitting the ground, because we don't have a lot of branches on our trees, it's just thriving in this particular area of the orchard. Now, this entire area from way up here in these cherries all the way down here has had this same exact problem in the past. So what we figured out is that certain chemistries work in our weed spray program, but the ones that work unfortunately you can't use on younger trees due to the volatility of the product. So we're actually trying a new Corteva product here, which there's no affiliation with Corteva and using this product called Hulk, but we are going to be using it here for the first time to see and kind of test it to see if it's worth a while and worth the money in order to try and get this cockle under control. We're going to do it underneath the trees here, and then also we are going to be spraying the centers of the rows, because what we like to do after the first year of establishing the orchard is let the grass grow, and then the next year we come through and we will actually spray 2,4-D combo-ish in the centers to kill dandelions and other broadleaf weeds that pop up in the grass. So we're going to be doing that here as well, using that Hulk in place of 2,4-D to complete our pre-emerge acreage for 2025, looking into 2026 to gain that control early in the spring. We also seem to be having a little bit of an issue with deer chewing on the root balls or the graft of the apple tree. So if you guys have anything that you recommend using to help keep rabbits out, besides we have some traps on the edges of the orchards and stuff, but there really isn't a legal rabbit bait that you can use here in the United States after some research. So if you guys have any ideas on ways to help me keep some rabbit out, put it in the comments down below. So what you've seen here today is exactly what we use on our 3,000 acre farm to control a good rotational acreage of our pre-emergent to help us stay on top of weeds come the spring of 2026. So that's what you guys saw here in this week's video. You guys, thanks for watching. YouTube wants you guys to watch this video next. Click on that. Thanks for the support, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.